Now, I'm going to be talking about how much income inequality exists, and particularly here in New York City, where the majority is living under, extreme conditions of income inequality. And the minority having um, the majority of the wealth. Now, where I particularly live is in Manhattan, where lots of gentrification has been going on, where condominiums are built with 136,000 square feet. I'm talking about huge lofts, beautiful lofts, while majority of other people are just constantly living in very horrible conditions. And this goes back to the stagnation of the middle class. Yeah, I listed a couple of things on this blackboard, and I don't know if you can be able to see it, but you know, if the middle class is stagnant, then there's no way where the middle class can actually invest or grow in this in for prosperity. We'll have more liability than actual assets, and so as the food produce continues to uptick, right? The cost of food produce. Today, you go to the regular grocery store, get about milk and bread and etc., and it end up costing you a lot more. Except, especially transportation, you come to see it. The actual wages that you're actually making doesn't really fit to your standard of living, and this is what's been going on in predominantly in New York City. Um, And as me, uh, I'm 35 years old. I'm very young. Um, I work hard. I work 40 hours a day. 40 hours. And I kind of noticed that under the circumstances, it's very difficult for me to be able to mobile, to be able to progress and going up the ladder, economic ladder. Because I'm trying to start my own business. So, and as I try to start my own business, I have to really consistently deal with the high inflation regarding food produce or transportation, and whatever other bills that I have to pay. So it's very difficult for a single person to be able to handle a lot of these income inequalities. And I put this list here because I wanted to be able to express how tough it really is to really go up and be able to have some sort of growth, depending on how much wages you're earning. Um, Again, I have a bachelor's degree. I'm well-rounded, experienced in many different fields, and it's become very, very difficult to move up the economic ladder. Um, and I think that ultimately leads to this. If I myself have a bachelor's degree, I can only imagine how difficult it would be for someone who doesn't have a bachelor's degree. Even if I were to have a master's degree, sometimes you're overskilled for some jobs and you're not allowed to get these jobs. So, but nonprofits don't really pay the amount of money that students who graduate from bachelor's degrees they end up paying them. So they nonprofits really pay very low. They're not union represented. They you have no union representation. Um, and even if you did have union representation, now in this generation, most unions are really pretty much not as predominantly influential as they were in the past. And so this has allowed this complete stagnation of the middle class, and to the point where it's gotten so difficult to have the minimum for the standard of living. I mean, literally, I'm working 40 hours, and yet I'm unable to be able to balance myself economically to have my own place, because I'm also a caregiver for someone who was diagnosed with cancer the previous year. So I'm pretty much the one who has to bring the food on the table, pay transportation, and also be able to balance a lot of the income inflation. And it's a very difficult task. Um, but yet again, I'm just saying that middle class has stagnated tremendously in this country. Now, New York City, particularly, it's just been you can just see it. I mean, you have these beautiful new condominiums being built all around the neighborhood, but majority of people who lived in these neighborhoods for years aren't able to afford these kind of these apartments, and it's being catered to a certain group of people, a certain community, and the community that really needs it the most assistance, isn't it that trickle down is not reaching the majority of American citizens. And so this is a huge crisis, and it has to be addressed. And some way, somehow, we need to look at it and really start focusing on the middle class more, because I study my ass off, I work hard, and yet I've myself have dealt with economic stagnation, meaning that you know, if I'm in a position, I am not getting the salary in which I should be getting at a bachelor's degree level, which means that over the years, whether I worked in the mental health field, where I worked in as a counselor in schools, or any other field, it has been the same scenario. The salary that has been given to me has not been enough for me to be self sufficient and be able to grow economically. And I think that I speak on behalf of many other people who felt the same way. Take care and peace be upon you.